Assalamualaikum. Apa khabar? Bertemu lagi kita pada malam yang ketiga. So, straight 3 malam berturut-turut saya buat live. Okay. So, terima kasih kerana bersama dengan saya untuk sambung balik perbincangan kita daripada malam semalam. Okay. Terima kasih orang pertama yang tengok live. Okay. So, anyway, malam ni sebenarnya adalah extra sebab saya nak tunjukkan. Thank you Tony Lim for watching. As I told you previously that tonight kita akan share tentang macam mana teknik nak menguasai menstrual cycle, because menstrual cycle, yes, most of the students, they do know, dia tahu, but they don't really understand. Okay, so let's kita pergi kepada screen. Let's go to the screen. Okay, kita revise sikit. So last night I told you that we should have 5 items. This one. Okay. So, ini adalah bahan yang kita perlu ada. Sekurang-kurangnya. Ini kita buat semalam. Okay. So, we have the ovary wall. We have the primary oocyte. We have the primary follicle, secondary follicle dan Graafian follicle. Okay. So, kita zoom sama dia. So, the first one is the ovary, inside and outside. Second one is the primary oocyte and secondary oocyte. Primary follicle, secondary follicle, and Graafian follicle. Okay. So, before we start, ini adalah daripada semalam, our yesterday class, which when we talk about menstrual cycle, thank you Muhammad Nizam, Siti Khadijah, Nur Aliani for watching. Okay. So as I told you previously that when we talk about menstrual cycle, it is a 28-day cycle. First day cycle equals to the first day of menstruation. Okay, there will be 4 main hormone: FSH, estrogen, LH, and progesterone. And kita akan fokus, kita akan gunakan penguasa apa hormon tadi dengan menggunakan kaedah ni. That is gland, hormone, blood vessel, and the target organ. Kejap. So, I repeat, gland, hormone, blood vessel, and target organ. Okay, so, let's start the lesson. So, when we study about menstrual cycle, it's better for us to start with the LH. Sorry, my mistake. So, it's better for us to start with the FSH. So, we're going to start with the FSH. Okay. So, FSH, maafkan saya. Payahnya nak dapatkan dia punya ni. Fokus dia. Okay, FSH is a hormone. So, hormon kita akan gunakan warna biru. So, FSH is the hormone. Okay, which it was secreted, ia dirembeskan by pituitary gland. So, pituitary gland is the gland, of course lah kan. So, kita punya gland, kita gunakan warna orange. Okay. So, the FSH will be transported by using blood vessel. Blood vessel. So, kita gunakan warna merah. Okay. Dapat kan? And then, the target organ, okay. The target organ, yes, is gonna be ovary. Betul. Tetapi lebih tepat adalah follicle cells. So, kita punya target organ, kita gunakan warna yellow. Where's my yellow? Alamak. Okay, kejap So, the target organ will be the follicle cell. Okay, so dekat sini saya cuma warna sikit je, separuh je adalah sebab dia. So, in this case, when we talk about the FSH, the function of FSH, so kita boleh tambah, is to stimulate growth of follicle cells. So, stimulate itu datang daripada siapa? Datang daripada FSH tadi. What is the target organ? So, the target organ is the follicle cell. Okay, so that's why the primary follicle will become secondary follicle and finally will become Graafian follicle. So means that the growth of the follicle cell from the primary into the secondary into Graafian follicle is because of the secretion of FSH by the pituitary gland. Okay, dapat? Senang. So, kita boleh tunjukkan macam ni. Primary follicle will become secondary follicle and finally Graafian follicle because of the FSH. Okay, so kalau kita tengok dekat sini, the pituitary gland will secrete FSH that will be transported by blood vessel and the target organ is going to be the follicle cell. However, at the same time, follicle cell will become the gland. Remember, warna orange kita tunjukkan untuk gland yang merembeskan hormon. So, at the same time, follicle cell will become a gland, which the follicle cell will secrete estrogen. Estrogen ataupun estrogen. Dah campur dah bahasa Melayu bahasa Inggeris dia. Okay, so dia akan merembeskan estrogen. Siapa yang rembeskan estrogen? The estrogen will be secreted by the follicle cell. Okay, so that's why primary follicle becoming secondary follicle, and from the secondary follicle becoming Graafian follicle due to FSH. At the same time, pada masa yang sama, primary follicle will secrete estrogen, secondary follicle will secrete more estrogen, and Graafian follicle will secrete the highest concentration of estrogen. So, dia akan selari between the size and the secretion of estrogen. Dapat kan? Okay. So, in this case, the estrogen also will be transported by blood vessel. Okay. Ingat, warna merah adalah untuk blood vessel. So, the blood vessel, the target organ is gonna be the endometrium wall. Juga dikenali sebagai uterus lining. Ingat uterus lining dan bukannya uterus wall. Uterus wall salah. So dekat mana? Okay. So the target organ for the estrogen adalah endometrium wall ataupun uterus lining. So this is the target organ. So, when we talk about estrogen, kena quote kat situ. Paling utama adalah untuk repairing. Repairing ni wajib. Repairing ataupun memperbaiki and thickening. Repairing and thickening yang terbaik. Repairing betul, thickening je salah. Okay, so sentiasa biasakan diri untuk menulis kedua-duanya sekali. Okay, so in this case, awak boleh perhatikan bahawa terdapat hubungan yang signifikan between the secretion of FSH that will cause the development of the follicle cell. At the same time, the follicle cell also will secrete the estrogen and it functioning into the endometrium wall. Okay, kita pergi kepada apa yang kita dah buat. So, right now, kita tengok apa yang berlaku sebenarnya. So, kita berada dalam keadaan sekarang ni, kita berada dalam inside ovary. Okay, bayangkan kita berada dalam ovary. So, ini adalah primary oocyte. So, oocyte tadi, kita gumpalkan dia. So, right now, this is the primary oocyte. Ini adalah oocyte primer yang berada di dalam ovary. However, we will unable to see the primary oocyte because the primary oocyte, so this is the primary follicle. The primary oocyte will be covered by the primary follicle. So, this is exactly what happened inside the ovary. So, means that kita memang takkan nampak oocyte, tapi kita akan nampak follicle cell that is covering the primary follicle. Dapat? Senang kan? Okay. So, saya buka balik. However, this is the primary oocyte will carry out meiosis 1. Primary oocyte will carry out meiosis 1. So, kita buka. So, since the primary oocyte carry out meiosis 1, so it will become secondary oocyte. Okay, so right now, from the primary oocyte, it becomes secondary oocyte because of meiosis 1. Yes, ada orang tanya, sir, how's about the polar body? Ada atau tak ada? Ada. Polar body yang mana? Ini adalah polar body. Nampak tak polar body? Ni yang kecil ni je. Okay, so polar body bukanlah sel yang besar, dia adalah degenerate oocyte. Okay, so apabila once it becomes secondary oocyte, the secondary oocyte will be covered by the secondary follicle. However, remember, the primary follicle becoming secondary follicle because of secretion FSH. Manakala primary oocyte menjadi secondary oocyte because of meiosis 1. So, macam biasa, kita takkan nampak secondary oocyte, tapi kita akan nampak secondary follicle because it was covered by the secondary follicle. So, where is the secondary oocyte? It was covered, it was inside the layer of secondary follicle. Okay, betul kan? So, dalam kes ini, remember, the primary follicle will become secondary follicle and finally Graafian follicle because of FSH. So, means that kita kena tukar. This is still the secondary oocyte, okay, with the Graafian follicle. Okay, so this is what happened. So, means that inside the ovary, we were unable to see the secondary oocyte because it was covered by the Graafian follicle. That's why, kalau kita perhatikan dalam persediaan kita, the primary oocyte, the square is a little bit smaller compared to the secondary follicle because I want to show that the size of the follicle cell will increase. That's why when we talk about the Graafian follicle, the size of the table is the biggest. is the largest. Okay, are we good? Dapat? So, kita balik ke sini. Kita berhenti dekat mana? The Graafian follicle covering the secondary oocyte inside the ovary. Okay, kita patah balik ke sini. So, pada masa yang sama, because of estrogen tadi secreted by the follicle cell. Remember, follicle cell will become primary follicle will become secondary follicle and finally finally Graafian follicle. So, estrogen concentration increase. Due to what? Due to the formation of the Graafian follicle. So, in this case, it will stimulate. Dia akan merangsang. Dia akan merangsang siapa? It will stimulate the pituitary gland. It will stimulate the pituitary gland. This is the gland. Okay. To secrete hormone, the one that you call as a luteinizing hormone, or we can use LH with one condition, capital letter. So, LH, it was secreted by the pituitary gland. Kita boleh tambah before day 14. Boleh, tak ada masalah. Ini orang kata tambahan. Okay, so as a result, the LH will be transported by blood vessel. It will be transported by the blood vessel. Okay. And then, what is the target organ? The target organ adalah Graafian follicle. So, this is the target organ. Warna kuning. Okay. So, kita balik ke sini. So, that's why yang anda nampak sekarang ini adalah the layer of the Graafian follicle. So, due to FSH, the Graafian follicle, this is inside the ovary, the Graafian follicle will move towards the wall of ovary. Okay, kita buka sikit. Kan semalam saya dah cakap kan, kita akan tunjuk, tengok macam mana berlakunya proses ovulasi live. Okay, so what happened? The Graafian follicle will go to the wall of ovary. Okay, so this is inside of the ovary. So this is the Graafian follicle. Okay, so I flip it, saya terbalikkan, and then as a result, apa yang kita nampak tu? Okay, that is the secondary oocyte. Secondary oocyte will be released. Will be released from the ovary. Okay, this is what we call as ovulation. Sebab tu saya kata saya akan share dengan awak proses ovulasi secara live. Bukan senang nak nampak dan free of charge je. Okay, so sekarang ini adalah pandangan. Sebab tu when we define ovulation, process of releasing secondary oocyte from the ovary. Okay, so apa yang tinggal dekat dalam? Yang tinggal dekat dalam adalah bekas Graafian follicle. However, after the ovulation, there will be no more Graafian follicle. No more Graafian follicle because it will be rebranded as a corpus luteum. Okay, so dekat mana dia berhasil lagi berada di dalam ovary. So corpus luteum, it will bigger and it start to degenerate if there is no fertilization. Are we good? Senang? Mudah? Okay, so kita patah balik ke sini yang terakhir. So from the Graafian follicle, after ovulation, it become corpus luteum. So, corpus luteum will become the gland. It will secrete progesterone. So, this is the hormone. Okay. That is transported by blood vessel. And the target organ, of course, is going to be the endometrium wall. Okay. However, remember when we talk about progesterone, the main function is maintaining and thickening. So maintaining wajib tulis, tak tulis dia akan jadi salah. Okay, so the overall diagram is going to be like this. Okay, so kembali kepada saya. That's why kalau anda perhatikan daripada gambar raja ni, okay, ini adalah gambar raja. Saya gunakan gambar yang sama. Saya gunakan color coding. Okay, saya gunakan color coding. Apa color untuk gland, hormon, the corpus, gland. Okay, nasib baik tak nampak apa-apa. So, saya tunjukkan warna untuk untuk gland, untuk hormon, untuk blood vessel dan juga untuk target organ. So, ini adalah method dia. Saya akan share nanti. Okay, so kalau ada perhatikan, ia sangat senang untuk difahami hanya dengan menggunakan warna. Dengan membuat sedikit praktikal, pelajar akan lebih memahami konsep of menstrual cycle. So, saya rasa itu sahaja yang saya dapat kongsikan malam ini. So, untuk pelajar-pelajar yang telah mendaftar bagi bengkel Raja Bayu and Friends and Team for Physics and Additional Math, jangan lupa satu Ahad ni kita ada bengkel. So, kepada yang masih berminat, masih ada kekosongan. Begitu juga bagi pelajar yang dah join untuk bengkel bersama saya pada minggu hadapan, 1 hari bulan. So, masih ada kekosongan. So, jangan sampai terlambat. Sebab saya akan share lebih banyak lagi teknik-teknik terakhir lah before you sit for your SPM. Okay? So, saya rasa itu saja yang saya dapat kongsikan pada malam ini. Yang baik itu semua adalah daripada Allah. Kelemahan itu adalah daripada diri saya sendiri. Semoga apa kita pelajari akan jadi manfaat di dunia dan akhirat. Semoga apa yang kita pelajari akan jadikan kita hamba Allah yang lebih baik. InsyaAllah. Take care, jaga diri dan jangan nakal-nakal. Okay? I love you all. Muah. Assalamualaikum. Bye-bye.